Well, live long and prosper, my fellow Trekkies or Trekkers, or however you choose to be called. I will respect your choice. How are you? This is Phil, and I'm back with another review of a Star Trek Strange New World episode. A Strange New Worlds episode. It's the Elysian Kingdom. It's the eighth episode of season one. If you like my content, please like and subscribe to the page. Thank you, everybody that's been listening, whether it's to the Strange New Worlds podcast, the Deep Space Nine ones, which we skipped this week. We'll get back to it next week. Guys, it's the end of the semester at school. It's just been running around. I've been just running around like crazy. I barely had time to get this one in. I barely had time to watch this episode, actually, but I did get to it. And I was a little under the weather too, so that didn't help much. And also, I do a podcast on Mondays, every other Monday, usually. I'm talking about my life down here in Brazil. And the last one was really awesome. If you want to know a little bit about Brazilian culture, Afro Brazilian culture, listen to the last podcast, or live cast. It's in English and it's with a Brazilian writer. But again, fluent English, really nice. And also before that, we talked a little bit about ayahuasca here in Brazil with a guy from Georgia, but who lives down here. Sorry, Mississippi, who lives down here. Anyway, but you're here probably for the trek, so let's get to the trek. And guys, oh guys, here's me crying because I probably will upset a bunch of you by saying that Mbenga is not my favorite character. And I plan on doing at the end of this season a season review, and then I want to do a live cast ranking the characters from Star Trek Strange New Worlds. And spoilers, he's going to be at the bottom. And anybody that's been listening to me over the course of these live casts already know that. So no surprise there. And why is he at the bottom of my list? Well, first, it has nothing to do with Babs Olusamukun. I don't know if I pronounced that correctly, but it has nothing to do with Babs' performance per se. He does all right. It's just the storyline is not that interesting. Like they don't give him a lot to do. They have not given him that much to do. He's got this subplot or with the daughter, that came out of nowhere and was it the fourth or however or whatever episode that was, which I thought was kind of a weird storyline because why would he be hiding something like that? It's not like it's a crime. My daughter's very sick. The only way that I can keep her um, alive is to keep her in stasis. Hey, heads of Starfleet, medical, science, whatever, let's figure out a way to keep her well until I can find the cure. I don't see why that would be such a problem for a quote unquote elevated society that we're supposedly living in Star Trek, Strange New Worlds and beyond. So that little part didn't fly with me to begin with. Two is that he's so nonchalant, but not nonchalant in the way that Pike is. Pike's just laid back. Oh, we got this. Making little pirate jokes at the end of last episode. That's just Pike's demeanor. But in Benga, I don't feel the turmoil that this is causing for him that you would imagine somebody that's dealing with something this grave would feel like. That's why that felt like it came out of nowhere, right? It didn't feel like it was building up, like there's something hidden. I think I compared it to other characters in Trek, like Odo. Something's eating at him from episode one. Yes, he's a oh god, my pronunciation here, curmudgeon, is that how you pronounce that? He's just a grumpy old guy. uh, but you get a sense that there's more going on beyond that. Bashir too. After we find certain things about him, if you've never seen Deep Space Nine, I won't spoil it for you. But you see it on his face that he's still Bashir. That loves his women and it's kind of young and naive, but there's more. There's something going on behind that. And Garrick is another example. Well, I'm just pointing out Deep Space Nine characters because that's the best written Trek as far as character wise. But you get that sense. And even if we go into Star Trek Discovery, which isn't the best written Trek, but I still love me some Star Trek Discovery. But even then, a show that's full of emotions. Star Trek Discovery is all about emotions, which is cool. That's just that's the road they chose to take, and I'll go on that road of emotions. And yeah, you get a sense that when the characters are going through something, they're still them, but there's something going on behind the scenes. And even if we go all the way back to season one in Lorca, there was something up with him. We didn't know exactly what it was. Was he suffering from PTSD? Was he just kind of a wild man, but something happened to change him into that wild man? It doesn't exactly follow regulations. What's going on until we get that reveal? And I know there's folks out there who still haven't seen Star Trek Discovery, so I won't spoil that. But there's always something there that lets me know that this character is going through something, even if it's not always part of the episode's main plot line. And I did not feel that with Mbenga before the revelation that his daughter was in that transporter buffer. Definitely didn't feel it after. And I started this by saying it's not his performance, but maybe it is because he just kind of talks in the same kind of tone. He reminds me of Vedic, not Vedic, yeah, Vedic Baral, one of my least favorite characters in Star Trek Deep Space Nine, if we go back to that, where he was so monotone all the time. Everything was just like, yes, I believe that this is the best path for you. We must pray about this. We must think about this. We must find a reasonable solution to get, and it's just talking in his tone. And Mbenga has that same thing where he's very monotone, and I'm not feeling the strife that a parent would be feeling. He has those moments where he kind of hunches down a little bit more than he's already hunched down. In fact, I was looking for pictures to put up here in the thumbnail, and I found this one, which I thought was cool because Hemmer saves this episode, by the way. That's why I put Hemmer up there. Glad to see him back. But he's hunched over all the time. That's just his way, I guess. But it feels like, maybe if he was 80, 90 years old, I could deal with the Star Trek main character that was just hunched over, just a wise old man. But he's not the wise old man. He's made mistakes. He's not followed Starfleet protocol. So is that what it is? Does he feel lesser than, especially if you compare it to the original portrayal of Dr. Mbenga, which is very much um, um, which is it's just different. He's got a different force to him. He doesn't have a lot to do, but he's there. And I'm looking here, and he does have a bit of hunch over quality to him too. But I don't think it's as hunched over as this character is. But anyway, um, yeah, man, there's so much that just doesn't inspire me in Mbenga. Nurse Chapel, in fact, steals all the scenes. Whenever they do have a medical situation, Chapel is the one that seems to be fitting into this series, has better interactions with the characters. Again, she's not my favorite character on this series, but I get why folks really love her because she's charismatic. She interacts with the other characters. She does things that are essential to the plot moving forward. And Benga, he just looks beat, just beat. But not just because of his daughter. He just looks like he doesn't want to be there, you know? So, least favorite character. And then the storyline with his daughter, I thought was ridiculous. So I care very little about that. Guys, it's 10 minutes. I'm just like ragging on him. But I haven't even gotten to this episode yet. So what do you think I thought about this episode? Good Lord. It was boring, basically, because it's following through on a character I think is boring, a character plot line I think is boring, and it does give us a resolution to it, So, who is Mbenga now? What is he gonna do? He's just gonna be continue moping around now in medical. I don't know if that is what his future is. Maybe that's why they boot him off the Enterprise, and then we get McCoy later. In Nurse Chapel kind of takes a bigger role. I don't know. I don't know. Uh, I just know this, that as soon as the episode started with him reading with to his daughter, I was like, oh boy, here we go. Let's see where this is going. And I had seen some comments because I didn't watch it on Thursday. I had to watch it last night, this episode. So I saw people saying, oh, this is a tearjerker, tearjerker. So I figured, okay, there's going to be some resolution to this story now. I didn't read any of the spoilers. And I guess either she's going to die or you know gonna be they're gonna figure out a way to fix her. Something's gonna happen, which made me happy because I said finally we get rid of this storyline, because for me it's like it just like a weight you know in the back of this series, because it's the most ridiculous storyline. So we get rid of that. We absolutely get rid of that. But then it goes from there to Star Trek Strange New Worlds fantasy, because they're checking out this nebula, and Pike's just chilling, and Spock makes a little quip about not jinxing the fact that everything's going fine, because Pike's like, oh, don't you just love it when we're not running for our lives, we're just checking out nebulas. That part was kind of cool because we don't always get that in Trek, right? Just what's an average day? Nothing's really happening. Every day isn't, us fighting the Klingons or running from some um, crystalline entity or whatever, or the Borg are coming. Sometimes it's just a chill day where we're just surveying stars. That's part of Starfleet's job too, right? So they're in just Jonazian Nebula. And then they get stuck there. And it's like, okay, let's start the Star Trek tropes. Let's boldly go where we have been before many, 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 many times. So it begins with the nebula and getting stuck there. And then Mbenga goes up to the bridge because our girl Ortega hits her head when she tries to hit it. And then everything's transformed into this fantasy kingdom. And it's pretty clear, right, that this is the fantasy kingdom that, um, what's her name? His daughter, Rukia, imagined, because it's in the book that he's been reading to her. So everybody's acting all strange. Yes, Pike is like the coward, and Ortega, I guess, I would think Laan, because Ortega plays like, I guess, this gender mix. She's a sir, and it intimated that she's got something going on with Una. And I was like, what a missed opportunity to have Laan be that one, because I feel there's this lesbian vibe between Una and Laan. I don't know what's going on there. Hopefully, they'll explore that in later seasons. But everybody's acting against type. Ha 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 ha. I'm not gonna go through the whole episode. You all watched it, and the end. The resolution is that, hey, it's some godlike entity that went into Mbenga's daughter's Rukia's mind, saw that she was lonely, like she is out in the nebula, and she wanted to play. Good Lord, how many times have we seen that in Star Trek? In fact, if you're into Star Trek Deep Space Nine, we just, well, not just, let me see here, Deep Space Nine, Season 1. What's the name of the episode? It was a very similar episode, which I didn't like too much in that Season 2. Is it the If Wishes Were Horses? Yes, the S9's crew's own imaginations cause mysterious beings with unknown intentions to appear on the station. It begins with the appearance of Rumpelstiltskin because that's the story that Miles O'Brien is reading to his daughter. So, it's a rehash of that. Um, a rehash of holodeck episode. I mean, I know we're not on a holodeck, so this is the way Strange New Worlds, I guess, can have its cake and eat it too, because you can't do holodecks in Strange New World because that technology has not been invented yet, or not to the level of TNG. I think the animated series does kind of confirm that they did have some sort of holodeck program, because I know folks were complaining about that with Star Trek Discovery Season 1. It's like, canon, they didn't have holodecks. They had something similar, right? Not TNG level, but something similar. And you can't go into the mirror universe because I think it established that Kirk is the first one to go through. Although somebody mentioned that in Enterprise they had them, so I could be wrong about that. I could be wrong about going into the mirror universe, but I'm pretty sure they wouldn't go into the mirror universe yet. Uh, I've admitted it. I have not seen all of Enterprise. I'll try to do it after. I'll make the promise to y'all after season 1 of Star Trek Discovery is finished. Maybe I'll start doing some videos with Star Trek Enterprise. First time watch reactions. I've seen like 12 episodes of the first season. That's as far as I've gotten ever. So I'll try to push through. So okay, I'm not totally sure. Let's see. Live casting. Uh, when does Star Trek go into the mirror universe for the first time? Although technically, yeah, because Discovery goes into the mirror universe, and that was before Kirk too. So, oh yeah, there's In the Mirror Darkly. Yeah. So, chronologically, In a Mirror Darkly is the first crossover between universe, with those events preceding the Star Trek Discovery's bold emergence of the Mirror Universe in its first season, which is the. All right. Okay, I stand corrected here. I guess Strange New Worlds can go into the Mirror Universe at some point. Maybe that would be more interesting than this. I don't know. This was just absolute bore fest for me. And also, yeah, I'm just laying it all out for you guys. And so again, totally, you know, me problems here. Not necessarily the episode was fine. It just made me yawn. About 10 minutes into it. I'm also not into period pieces. I'm not into period pieces that much, unless it's Shakespeare. I can sit through a Shakespeare play, no problem. In fact, watch Macbeth that came out this year with the Coen brother. Pretty decent, pretty decent. But yeah, the minute they put on those baggy, stuffy clothes, that's me. Maybe that's like you are watching my videos. Like, oh, is he gonna keep babbling on for an hour? So there's a little bit of that turned me off. There's a lot that turned me off. Starting with Mbenga, because he's just boring. His delivery, his demeanor, the storyline they got him. I'm sure this guy's a great actor. It's just the way that they're directing him and the way that they're telling him that's what this character has to be is just boring. So he's number 1 on the list of why I didn't like this episode. Number 2 on the list of why I didn't like this episode, the whole daughter story is ridiculous. I just can't, I can't believe this is a big secret. It's like, my daughter's sick. This is the elevated future, progressive future. Why can't you tell Captain Pike before you get on the damn ship? Look, I got a sick fucking daughter. We got to do something for her. I'm going to keep her in a transporter buffer. We may have some issues if we get attacked by the Gorn and lose all power or whatever, But it's a quick fix. And then Uno would have said, oh, I can fix that. No problem. Here. And in fact, I think, yeah, it was fixed by the time they got attacked by the Gorn. All right? Because When did that happen? Was it the Illyrian episode where that reveal came out? So that's number two. Number three, period piece. Ugh, that's like what was it, Q Hugh or something, where they all go back to the TNG cast, or like in Robin Hood or something. It's like, I think Voyager does an episode where they go back to like the Renaissance. I don't know. Those are the episodes. Yeah, because doesn't Janeway become friends with Da Vinci or something? It's been a while since I've watched Void Janeway, and is it Da Vinci that she befriends? Oh yeah, yeah. Yeah, but this is inside the holodeck, Leonardo da Vinci hologram. Ugh, you know, very few of these that I like. Maybe the Sherlock Holmes ones are okay. That's about my limit. So, and I'm a fan of holodeck episodes. Believe it or not, there's a lot of folks out there that really do not like holodeck episodes. I'm actually, I got no issues with them. In fact, I'm looking forward to running into Mr. Fontaine in the near future as we continue on our Deep Space Nine journey. So I'm not a holodeck hater. It's just some of the things that happen in a holodeck are just oh. So for me, this is like a holodeck episode, basically. Holodeck mixed with mirror universe, but in the worst possible way. And again, and I'm not also not a hater of the mirror universe. I know folks that really don't like that, including Steve Shives, which is one of my favorite Trek YouTubers. He was just going off on the mirror universe in his Ask Anything segment that he just put out. And I'm like, man, I dig it. I thought that was the best part of season one of Star Trek Discovery. It just brought life to the show and brought focus to the show. Much more interesting than the whole Klingon War storyline. That was a mess. But so yeah, I'm not a hater these days. Just what happens inside the holodeck can quickly become extremely boring and extremely cheesy and not and campy, not in a way that I like my camp. So there you go. Now who saves this episode? Hammer. He's back because he didn't get affected by all these changes. He's not acting all crazy, and the him and Mbenga get together and figure a way out. Hammer uses science, the magic of science, because he's a wizard, which is cute. It harkens back to Star Trek Discovery's science. From what season two or so. Uh, this one a little bit better done as far as giving science a shout out. But yeah, Hammer softened a little bit. I think they softened his character a little bit in this episode. And again, this happens, throughout the progression of a season. Actors just, get into their roles differently, and sometimes they play them differently depending on the director too. So that's fine. But yeah, he brought some life. He brought some actual tension. He brought some comedic relief that this episode was missing up to that point. Because up to then, it was just like, oh my god, let me guess, it's some weird alien entity that's screwing with them. Oh, what do you know? I was right. Okay, and yeah, it's just a whole lot of it's like watching the Oscars or something, and like watching an award show and watching all these celebrities just like patting each other in the back and like, ooh, just let's enjoy ourselves in front of ourselves and hope somebody out there is actually watching and enjoying this crap. And that's basically how I felt here. It was like, okay, the actors look like they were having a good time. They were enjoying playing against type, except for Mbenga. He does not play against type. He's just very slow and thoughtful about things and talk. Oh, come on, manga. I'm sorry, dude. Anyway, anyway, how do I want to end this? I want to end this by saying, yeah, the ending was cute. Yeah, the daughter and the alien become friends. What does he name her? She names it after um after their mom or something. After her mom, was it Deborah or something? Because we find out, and here's the thing. Okay, so we get to the end of this episode, and then Benga, yeah, Deborah, has to make a decision because he's like, "Yo, we got to get the crew back." He starts yelling at the alien a little bit, which I didn't think. One, it was kind of cool to see him have a little bit of emotion, but I don't know if I'd be yelling at like a godlike entity, like, "You have to do this." Like, no, I don't, bitch. Y'all stand back, King Elysia, whatever the hell your name is. Stand back, King Mbenga, and I'm gonna have as much fun as I want. And you know what? I'll have it for an eternity, and I have the power to like put you right back where you were when this all started. So you know, because 1,000 years for me could be like 1 minute for you. So you can enjoy 1,000 years of this shit, and then when I get bored, I'll send your ass back. Now sit down, right? So I don't know if I'd be yelling at a creature like that. Even Picard, had to. He would get mad at Q, but he would have to figure out a way to logically get himself out of the situation. Of course, there's always the Cisco way, punch to the face. But and Benga, that would have been nice. Well, it's non corporeal entity, so he couldn't punch it in the face, unfortunately. But yeah, they have this little talk and through Hammer, because Hammer gets his little telepathic thing going with the alien, and the alien, they come to a decision. Either I send your daughter back, she's gonna die, or uh, what was the second option? I forgot. There was two options there. This is how much I care about what the options were. The third option was she can come and live with us or live with me. We can be together and live anti-corporeally through eternity, like Cisco. Yeah, borrowing a lot from DS9 here, and be a wormhole alien. In this case, be a nebula alien with us, and Benga has to make this choice. Within 1 or 2 minutes of to have the scene end. And man, that's a big choice. It's a huge choice. And going back to Cisco, because Cisco makes that choice at the end of Star Trek Deep Space Nine, but it's not an easy choice. It's a choice that one takes that entire last episode, which I think it's 1 or 2. Man, it's been 5 or 6 years since I've seen it, so I don't remember all the details. We'll eventually get to it on our DS9 podcast. Um, but if you really, really want to get down to it, it's a choice that he's been dealing with since the emissary, the pilot, because he's got to leave behind his son. He's got to leave behind all his friends, but he's got to leave behind his son, his loved one. I think at the end he does eventually get with the um, oh, her name's at the tip of my tongue. Um, his girl there, I forgot now. Jessica Yates, right? I forget if they're together by the end of the series or not. But in any case, it's not an easy choice to say I'm going to leave everything behind to join the wormhole aliens. And I would imagine that it wouldn't be an easy choice for Mbenga to make in 1 to 2 minutes. Okay? Or at least it doesn't show that it was an easy choice. If they had drawn this out, if they had drawn how hopeless the situation is, because the last episode that we had, which is the other one I wasn't a huge fan of, where with the little kids that got sacrificed, writers are kind of building up to this idea that, hey, maybe we will find a cure for her. We will find the cure. We will find the cure. In the beginning of this episode is even with we will find the cure, and then they send this curveball of now we won't. And not only that, you now have to make a decision of letting her go. So everything you've been working towards as a character, we're just going to throw away. And you're just going to make this easy choice. What came off as an easy choice of let her stay or let her go. Oh, I guess I'm going to let her go. And Of course, I get how that is an emotional moment because hey, there she is. But as soon as he makes that choice, the daughter comes back as an older woman and say, "Hey, you made the right choice." And I'm like, "Ah, fuck you. Come on." So the little bit of emotional turmoil, emotional dynamic that we did get in this episode was ruined by the fact that the daughter comes back and tells him, "Yeah, you made the right choice. You don't have to mope around." Even though he probably will continue to mope around. Let's see. Let's see if his character changes. I'm gonna go back maybe this weekend and watch some old episodes with Mbenga. He didn't have a lot to do, but I just want to see what's the difference here. There's something missing, with Mbenga of old, Mbenga now, um, and it's a little bit of life. I get that. He's a serious character, Mbenga, in TOS, but it's it's just not doing it for me, guys. It's not doing it for me. Okay, it's not doing it for me. Um, but anyway, that's it. You know, I just trashed this episode. Definitely my least favorite one of the season. And I will do a season ranking. I believe I'll do my best. So spoilers. This will be bottom of the list unless the last two episodes are really trash, which I doubt because Strange New Worlds has been doing a pretty good job. It's a decent show. And again, it's not like this episode was badly written. It just didn't do it for me. Okay, it was a decent episode. Set design, uh, plot moved along logically. Everybody acted well. I guess given what they were, what they had to do, and just got to the end, and I was like, yeah, that's that. I guess. That's how I felt at the end of this. Was okay. There you go. Daughter's gone. Takes care of that. Airlock her. You know. And that's it, folks. I am now going to go see everything everywhere all at once because it's finally playing here in Brazil. I hope I enjoy it. I will see you guys next week, either on a Wednesday or a Thursday, to do more Deep Space Nine, which means that the Strange New World is probably going to move to a Friday again. Okay, it's my last week at school, so everything's going to be pushed back. And then in July, it's going to be a whole lot of Deep Space Nine, and possibly a Enterprise. Who knows? Maybe I'll be doing some Enterprise in July. I'll do them in like 6 episode chunks. Thanks, those of you who watch the channel. If you disagree with me, do so freely but respectfully. I know a lot of folks enjoyed this episode, so tell me what you loved about it. And that's it. Live long and prosper. Much love to you guys. Adios. Until next time.